Hello and welcome to this tutorial for Minecraft Bedrock. Today I'm going to show you a fast and fully automatic gold farm with smelters and sorting system to place in the overworld. This is my sixth and final design of the gold farms, and this is the fastest and most loot yielding farm of all six. This gold farm has a different system to turn the portal off, and because of that the portal turns faster on and off than the other 5 gold farms I've made. I will explain game mechanics throughout the video, which also will be indicated by this icon in the top corner. If you have any suggestions or questions after watching this video, then leave a comment below, and also leave a like, subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep up to date with my videos. Now let me show you how this gold farm works. We are starting with the storage system here. On both sides of the ladder are the same sorting systems to make sure all the different loot ends up in the right chests. The sorting system is this big so it can be used for long AFK sessions. And because we got a lot of loot from the farm, the sorting system needed to be on both sides to keep up. There are also 2 smelters on each side of the system, so the sorts are instantly smelted to gold nuggets as well. And because it's a fully automatic farm, we only need to turn the farm on and stand on the platform to gather the XP. So let's go up the ladder towards the platform. On both sides there are small walkways to the end of the sorter. This is so we can reach the chest to refill the fuel for the smelters. These chests can hold any fuel you want and can even be extended with extra hoppers and extra chests if needed for longer AFK sessions. Before we turn the farm on, let's take a look at the Trident Killer. In this build I'm using a Trident Killer that is not my design, but it is designed by Silent Whisperer. I will put the link to his video in the description if you want to have a look. There are 4 pistons that push the zombified piglins around against the trident we threw in the middle. Each time they hit the trident it does damage until they are dead. And as far as the game knows, this is our trident, so we killed with it and we will receive XP for the kills. You can use any trident you want, like the regular trident or an enchanted one, but the better the impaling enchantment, the faster the zombified piglins will die. Just make sure you don't use a trident with loyalty on it, as they will travel back to you. And also, mending and unbreaking are not necessary, as the trident doesn't take any damage at all. Here with this farm I am using a trident with only impaling 5 on it. So let's close this off and show you the rest of the farm. We got one lever to control the whole farm. If we turn this on, the Trident Killer starts up, and you can see the portal starts flashing and the zombified piglins start to spawn. They then fall down in the water after transport, which takes them to the trap chute. They then fall down again, but now into the Trident Killer, and the Trident Killer smacks them around till they are dead. The water that flows out takes the loot and XP out of the Trident Killer. All the loot gets picked up by one of the 3 hoppers and transported to the sorting system. All the XP flows straight out over the trapdoor, and when we stand in front of it we pick it up. The trapdoor on the hopper ensures that the loot doesn't flow further and also ensures that the XP flows over it towards us. If we hold a looting tree sword while the Trident Killer runs, we get more loot from the kills. The game transfers the looting tree enchantment onto the trident because that is ours as well, and that way we can get better loot. The storage system underneath is an automatic sorting system that sorts out the gold nuggets, gold ingots and rotten flesh. And after that sorting we are left with only the golden swords. The swords are not sorted, but directly transported to the blast furnace, which will smelt them into gold nuggets. This gold farm has a faster portal deactivation system than the other gold farms I've made. The system to turn the portal on and off consists of 2 dispensers with a filled water bucket in one and an empty bucket in the other. The first dispenser dispenses the water and the second dispenser picks it up almost instantly. This breaks the portal for a moment and the activation system turns the portal immediately on again. Then the second dispenser dispenses the water and the first dispenser picks it up again. This loop breaks and ignites the portal at great speed, which means we create more spawn chances, because every time a portal is turned on, there is a chance of a zombified piglin to spawn. The portal we use is at its maximum size, and that is because the bigger the portal, the more chance there is to spawn a zombified piglin. When combining the speed with the maximum size of the portal, we have the highest chance to spawn a zombified piglin. When turning the farm off we need to leave the Trident Killer on for a while, so the remaining zombified piglins get killed as well. For that purpose there is a hopper clock here next to the farm. This extends the time when the Trident Killer will turn off. Now that the farm is off you can see the remaining blocks in the hopper will run through. Once they are all through, the farm completely stops. This should add enough time for the Trident Killer to be empty out. If necessary, we can adjust the timing to be longer or shorter by adding or removing blocks from the hopper. I've tested this farm with 64 blocks in the hopper clock and that clears the farm completely. And to round up how the farm works, here are the rates for the rotten flesh, gold nuggets, gold ingots and golden swords. The rates are based on holding a looting 3 sword. The farm dimensions are 43 blocks high, 25 blocks wide and 15 blocks deep. All the materials we need are listed in the description below. I've separated the materials into the parts of the farm and made a total tally below that. Before we start building the farm, we need to find out on which side the zombified piglins will spawn. Depending on the direction of the portal, they will spawn 1 block east or south of the portal. And as we need to catch the mobs as they spawn at one of the portal sites, we need to know on which side the mob transport needs to be placed. For determining north, east, south or west, we can use this method. It's pretty simple and a cheap method to do. All the materials we need are a crafting table and a lever. It works like this. If we place a crafting table, then it always placed the same way. This means that this one tool points to the east and to the west. The double tool will point to the north and to the south. Now, if we combine that with a lever, the lever will always start out in the east or the south position. That means that this now is the east. Because we got one tool that goes to the east and to the west. This points to the east, so this is the east. Same we can do for the other side, because this is north and south. And if we place the lever, it faces south. So this is the south side. Which makes this west and makes this north. And that is a quick and easy way of finding it out. So we now know the portal in this world stands from north to south. That means that the zombified piglins will spawn on the east side. That translates to the following. This is the portal from north to south. And this is the east right here where the zombified piglins will spawn. So this is the place for the mob transport. We start to build with the smelters and the storage system. First we build the 2 smelters on the left side. Place 2 double chests next to each other like this. Place a hopper into each chest. Next we need to build these chests up until we have 3 layers. Double chests, hoppers, double chests and hoppers again. Place another 2 hoppers into these hoppers so we have room to place the blast furnaces. Then place a blast furnace on both hoppers. At the other side, place 2 hoppers into the back of the blast furnaces. Place a double chest on top of the hoppers to make the storage for the fuel. And finally, place a hopper on top of each blast furnace, facing down into the blast furnace so the items will go in. Next to the chest at the bottom on the right side, place a crafting table to have direct access for creating ingots from the nuggets. We now need to make the storage for the sorting system. I'll build up one to show you how, and the rest is just repeating the same. Double chest, hopper, double chest, hopper, double chest, hopper and double chest. On the top at the back of the chest, place a temporary block, then place 2 hoppers facing forward underneath each other. Remove the temporary block and you should have a build like this. Repeat this 7 more times next to each other to get a row of 8 storage spaces. 1 block to the right of the last chest we need to make our way up. Place a pillar of 7 blocks up, skip 1 block and place another pillar of 7 blocks up. Between these pillars place a pillar of 6 blocks high, 1 block to the back. Place ladders on this pillar and that is our way up. On the right side of the pillars we need to make the secondary storage system. This is going to be the same as on the other side but flipped. So that is from left to right, 8 storage spaces, 1 crafting table and 2 furnaces. Now that both sides have the storage space and the furnaces, we need to make the sorting system. This is again the same on both sides but partially flipped. Let's start on the left side. Place 2 solid blocks against the top 2 hoppers and do this for all 8 places. Place a row of solid blocks against the bottom solid blocks. On the underside of that row we need to place a row of pistons that face towards the middle of the farm. Place a redstone torch at the front side of each piston. Then place a row of solid blocks underneath the pistons but 1 block backwards. Place redstone dust on each of these blocks. Place a row of solid blocks against the side of that redstone dust. Place a row of glass on top of the redstone dust so it lines with the solid blocks here. Then place comparators on the blocks in front of the glass. And finally fill the rest of the spots with redstone dust. Do this the same on the other side, but with the pistons facing towards the middle of the farm as well. Here in the middle we need to make sure the pistons won't move. We do that by placing a solid block on each side and one obsidian block in the middle. Next we need to set up the item filters in the top hoppers. To make the filters, place the material we need to filter in the first slot and one renamed item in each of the other 4 spaces. The system will let all items through that are the same as the filter. There are however always 41 items left in the first slot because of the way this system works. Make sure that you set up at least 2 filters for each of the items we want to sort. This is an extra overflow protection to make sure nothing other than sorts will enter the furnaces. I recommend that you set the system up as follows. To complete the sorting system we need to make a hopper line that feeds the system. Start on the left side by placing a hopper on top of the last furnace hopper facing down. Then place a hopper line with all hoppers facing out so the items can be transferred towards the furnaces. Stop the hopper line on top of the first sorting space and then do the same on the other side of the farm. The placing of the next hoppers is to make sure we get a nearly even distribution of items over the 2 systems. Place the hoppers like this. On top of these hoppers we need to place 4 hoppers that go into each other, only the first is facing down. Place 2 rows of 8 glass on each side of those hoppers. Place a trapdoor on the second hopper from the front. Between the hoppers and the pillars place a square light source against the middle pillar. Then place a slab on top of the pillar and a slab on top of the light source. On each side of those 2 slabs place 2 rows of 4 slabs towards the sides. You now should have a platform of 9 by 2. Place 2 slabs on the pillars at the front for spawn protection. On the right side of the glass place 2 solid blocks out and 3 solid blocks high. Next place slabs on top of all remaining hoppers that are not covered to make 2 walkways towards the fuel storage. Place a lever here on the middle block, and to finish this part of the build, place a sign above the lever which shows the on and off position. The Trident Killer is built against this glass. We're gonna start on the right side, place 1 solid block and 1 to the right, and on the left side we're gonna place 4 blocks so we got a width of 6. Place 5 blocks backwards and fill this in to get a square of 6 by 6. Underneath here we can make some legs for aesthetics. It isn't really necessary, but it looks good. Just make sure you don't cut off any of the redstone from the sorter. On top, on the right side, place 2 layers of solid blocks. Do this on the left side as well. Then on the back side we're gonna place 2 layers as well. Place 2 blocks in front. We leave these 2 blocks clear. These 4 are going to be packed ice. Now we can place the water here as well. This is the water stream for the XP and the loot. Place a piston facing the ice next to the water. Then 2 blocks over another piston also facing the ice. Same here and same here. And we need to close this off with solid blocks except this one. This needs to be stairs, the rest needs to be solid blocks. The outer layer is solid blocks as well. And we now need to place the stairs. We need to waterlock these stairs and we need to waterlock this piston. That way there's always water on top of the ice. Next we need to put in the redstone for this system to work. We're gonna start right here with the repeater on 1 tick. Looking at that repeater, an observer, then a solid block, then a dropper, it doesn't matter which way it faces, then an observer looking at that dropper, a solid block, out of that solid block a repeater on 2 ticks, again an observer looking at that repeater, solid block, repeater on 2 ticks, observer and a solid block. Now this doesn't turn on yet, this only turns on when we connect it up with the controls. On the outer edge we're gonna place solid blocks to cover it all up and another layer on top of that. And in front, underneath this observer, we need to place a trapdoor. This prevents the small zombified piglins from getting out, but lets the XP and loot through. To finish the Trident Killer, we need to throw in the Trident. Throw the Trident somewhere on the ice, the pistons will make sure it ends up in the middle. Before we get to the mob transport, we need to make the drop chute that connects the two. The drop chute can be glass or solid blocks, either will do, but I'm making it from glass. We're gonna start on the front, that needs to be 4 blocks high and 2 blocks wide. Then on the sides we're gonna go 3 blocks high. and again 4 blocks high on the end. On the sides we're gonna place 4 packed ice, 2 on each side, and then we will start on the left by placing 7 blocks out, including this block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On the 8th we're gonna go 1 up, remove this block, and then place another 3 blocks out, so we got a total of 4. And then place another layer next to it. And on this side we're gonna do the same, 7 out. On the 8th we're gonna go up, remove this block, and then we're gonna go out 2, and then place another layer next to it. For the sides of the mob transport we have 2 options. Either we make it from glass like we did here, or we make it from solid blocks, but leave the top layer from glass. It doesn't matter which one you use, as long as the top layer is glass, then nothing can spawn on there, and then you'll be alright. So that are the 2 options we have, and I'm making it from glass. Place the glass all around the ice. We need to make sure here in the corners we need 2 layers of glass. That makes 3 layers of glass here in the middle. Now before we place the water we need to place 4 trapdoors. We're gonna place them on the side, on the top, and then close them. This stops the water from flowing down, but lets the zombified piglins through. And lastly, to finish this, place the water in all 4 corners. And that is the mob transport done. We're gonna start by placing the bottom layer of the portal. On the left side skip 1 block, and then place 23 blocks of obsidian to the right. That leaves this block on the right as well. From the corner we're gonna go 23 blocks up, that is including the bottom block. And then we're gonna go 23 across, and from this corner up to the top as well. You now should have a square portal of 23 by 23. The reason why we use such a big portal is to generate more zombified piglins. The smaller the portal, the smaller the chance of them spawning. So that is why we make such a massive portal. We are starting with the activation system. This needs to be placed on the right side of the portal. From the corner we're gonna go 1 block down and then place 2 blocks. Place 6 blocks in front of the portal and place 1 block up at the end. Leave this block empty for now and start on the second by placing 5 observers facing out. Then close the side off with blocks. As we need to make this a clock, place an observer against the rest. Close the outside off with solid blocks. Then place 5 trapdoors. It doesn't matter if they are up or down, both will work. Then place slabs on top of the trapdoors for the system to work properly and cover the rest of the blocks with slabs to prevent spawning. Before we place the lava and let the portal turn on, we need to make the portal deactivation system. Against the left side of the activation system, place a dispenser facing the portal. Place a solid block on top of the dispenser and a solid block next to it. Place on the other side of the portal the same 2 solid blocks. Place the dispenser opposite to the other dispenser, also facing the portal. Place a water bucket in the front dispenser and an empty bucket in the back dispenser. Next, place redstone dust on top of the 4 solid blocks above the dispensers. Place 2 solid blocks in the middle of the redstone dust on top of the portal. And then place 2 solid blocks on the side of the redstone dust on each side. On the front, place 1 solid block on the right side, and on the back also place a solid block on the right side. Now we need to place the rest of the redstone circuit. Start on the front side at the right with redstone dust, repeater on 1 tick, solid block, repeater on 1 tick, solid block, repeater on 4 ticks, and a solid block. For the other side we need to do almost the same. Redstone dust, repeater on 1 tick, solid block, repeater on 1 tick, solid block, and a repeater on 4 ticks. We will leave the last space open because this needs to be the on and off switch. For building the on and off switch we need to place a temporary block here. Place an observer facing down against the temporary block. Place a solid block on top of the observer and remove the temporary block. Place a temporary block against the observer on the left and place a solid block against that. Remove the temporary block and place a sticky piston facing the observer. Place another sticky piston on top of the other piston facing the same way as the other one. Then place slabs on top all 6 solid blocks to prevent spawning. And place another slab here, so when the pistons are activated the solid block is still covered. We can finish this with placing the lava in the middle of the activation system. When placed, the portal should turn on. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is to connect the controls. We're starting with the Trident Killer and the hopper clock we need for that. Place the lever in the off position. On the backside, on the height of the lever, we place a redstone torch. One block to the left and one block down. Place 2 solid blocks to the left. Place a redstone dust on the first block. Then from the underside of that last block, place 6 blocks to the back. Place a solid block on the end of the 6 blocks and then place 2 comparators into the solid blocks at both ends. Place a temporary block here. Place a hopper facing into that block. Remove the temporary block and place another hopper facing into the hopper. Both hoppers now face each other. Place a solid block next to the redstone dust here. Against this block we're gonna place a sticky piston facing the hoppers and a redstone block on the end. Put 64 blocks into the hopper that is not covered. Those blocks will immediately start draining into the other hopper. I've renamed these blocks, but that isn't necessary. Just make sure you use blocks that stack to 64. On the end of the hopper clock, place a redstone torch on top of the solid block. Place another solid block on top of the redstone torch. Then a redstone torch on the side of the block facing forward. Remove these 2 blocks and place a solid block on top of the redstone torch. And finally, place a redstone torch on the side of that block facing the dropper. Once all the blocks in the hoppers are drained to the other hopper, the Trident Killer will do 1 round and then turn off again. The Trident Killer is connected, so we now need to connect the portal deactivation system. Because this line cannot link to anything of the Trident Killer, we need to make a bit of a weird looking redstone tower. Place a solid block on top of this redstone torch. Place a redstone torch on the side of that block facing backward. Then a solid block on top of that with a redstone torch facing the side. Place another solid block on top of that with a redstone torch facing backwards. Again a solid block on top of that with redstone facing backwards. Now we can make a redstone torch tower going straight up until we are level with the bottom block of the portal activation system. On the last solid block, place a redstone torch on the side facing left. Place a solid block on top of that last redstone torch. Then place another solid block on the side and one on top of that. Do this again 1 block to the left, so we have a staircase of sorts. Leave the bottom block empty and place redstone dust on all the other blocks we just placed to connect both pistons. Place a slab for spawn protection on the bottom block we left empty. And with that final piece we finish the fully automatic gold farm with sorting and smelters. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any suggestions or questions, then leave a comment below. And also leave a like, subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep up to date with my videos. Have a great day and see you next time. Bye bye.